Hi, my beautiful artists. May you all have a beautiful day. May it continue to be a beautiful day. The beauty in art and change. So, change is a scary thing to do. Change is something that we all don't always like to do or want to do. And then there's the few that do. The few that do love change, they just know that with every change, something new is coming along the way. New energies, new perspectives, new ideas, new creativities, new everything. And then there's the few that don't. And honestly, for the people who don't like change, it's because you don't always like to be outside your comfort zone. And there's nothing wrong with having a comfort zone, nothing at all. However, you need to understand that change is constant all the time. And for someone who does not like to come out their comfort zone, it's scary. The change can seem scary. It can feel like a unknown. And there's nothing wrong with being in your comfort zone, but there's nothing wrong with change either. And honestly, when it comes to change, it's inevitable. It's something that we can't stop. And I only say that because, do have certain beings who will always say, I will never change. However, you are changing. You're always changing. Every year, you gain a new year of experience. Every year that rolls around, that makes you 1 year older, 1 year wiser. Every year, every day, every second that's passing by, that's change. It's changing around you, whether you like it or not. And I get where some people try to come from when they say, "Oh, I don't ever want to change." And that's just coming from a place that they don't want to change who they are internally. And I'm going to tell you right now that with wisdom, with growth comes change. Whether if it's a subtle change, a physical change, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, there is some type of change being involved. So we can never go wrong with change. It's just we're afraid of the drastic changes, the ones that take us out of our comfort zone, that pull us into a different direction, the ones that we are so uncertain or unsure of. And it can be scary at first. It's always scary at first. It's a little too unsure. Versus in your comfort zone, you know what you're going to get. You already know the feeling, you already know the outcome, you already know. The change is just deep diving into the unknown. And honestly, yes, it's going to be scary at first. Yes, it's going to feel weird at first. Yes, it's going to feel like you don't have the answers at first. But change needs to happen, especially right now when you are going through the stages where you are figuring out who you are, what you stand for, what you really want out of life. And that's going to cause you to bring about a lot of different changes in you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of it. And I want you to know that it is okay. I want you to know that you need to be patient with yourself. And that in itself is a big change. The amount of patience that you're going to need to have with yourself. And don't feel bad for the changes that are coming. Don't feel bad for the changes that are going to come with you, because you are going to become a new version of you, a new person, a new persona, however you want to word that. And that is going to change the view of others. Others are going to start seeing you differently. And that in itself is a drastic change because you're used to the people around you, the people, places, and things. And with that is also going to come boundaries. And some people don't know how to handle that. Some places, some things, people, whatever it is, whatever it looks like for you, it's going to be different. It's going to be a whole new game. And like I said, some people are going to be a little bit of either scared or they might not agree with you in that moment. And that is okay. You have to understand that as you're changing, it is not your job to change the people around you. It is not your job to change the places around you. They just change, especially when it comes to places. You no longer feel the same around certain places. You don't feel the same around certain people. You don't feel the same in general. You might not even feel the same within yourself. But that's all the changes that are happening. And there is nothing wrong with that. But you need to be patient with yourself at that time because you're getting to know a whole new version of yourself, a whole new being. The being that you've known since you were little, that's not the same being anymore. And with these changes, no matter how big, no matter how small, there's always going to be a positive outcome. Even though it doesn't feel like it, even though it feels like the world is crumbling beneath your feet, it's going to be a beautiful change. It's like a little butterfly in its cocoon. You are going from the caterpillar to the stages where the caterpillar is just wandering around. What time are they going into the cocoon? And honestly, the cocoon stage is a lot harder than the transformation part going into the cocoon. It's the part when you're breaking out of the cocoon that's a lot harder. You'll probably understand that a little bit later, but right now you're in the transition phase of being a caterpillar and being aware of its surrounding and being aware that it's about to go into the cocoon. And honestly, the changes, like I said, we can sit here and we can say we don't ever want to change, but realistically, if you want to become a better version of you, if you want to be a better person in general, if you want different changes or different outcomes out of life, change has to come with that. And you have to be okay with change and you have to be able to pivot real quick, if not suddenly, but understandingly. And it can be a brand new feeling of trying to figure out who you are, plus the changes around you. It can be overwhelming sometimes. And I don't want it to be super hard or complicated for people. And I wish that I could just snap my fingers and make it go away real quick and get you to the end goal. However, that's not how life works. That is not how life works. And it is okay. It is okay because we need to learn to love the changes in between, because without those changes, you can't get to where you want to go. You can't get to the end. You cannot. You have to be willingly be able to accept the changes, be a part of the changes, go along with the changes. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. It's a little bit like the when the seasons change. It's like going from spring to summer, from summer to fall, fall to winter. And we see the seasons sometimes. For those of you who see the four seasons, you can see how beautiful it is. It's a beautiful transformation. And it's the same thing that's happening with you. You are constantly changing, constantly evolving, even when you think you're not. Because one day you might like one thing that you eat, and the next day you don't like it. Just like one day you might love to do a hobby that maybe you don't like to do anymore, or vice versa. There's a hobby you didn't like, but now you love it. It's those type of changes. It's the fact that you need to realize that the change is happening all around us all the time, and you need to be okay with that, and you have to be patient with that, and most importantly, be patient with yourself. So accept the changes around you, see where you need to make changes, and you'll see how great it turns out. So, my beautiful artists, embrace the change. We're all changing every given moment. I hope you all have a phenomenal rest of your day. Bye.